In the pre-dawn darkness of August 9, 2025, over the war-torn landscape of Donetsk, a lone Ukrainian drone embarked on a mission that would redefine modern warfare. This wasn't just any drone. It was a one-way attacker, a sacrificial lamb on a deep strike mission with a target of immense strategic value. Russia's largest military drone factory. What unfolded next was a masterclass in technological deception and tactical brilliance. A story of how a single, low-cost asset outsmarted a multi-billion-dollar defense network. The mission began at 04:15. The drone lifted off, climbing to a mere 150 meters, hugging the terrain to stay below the radar horizon. It emitted no transponder signal, no telltale radio frequencies. To any system that might catch a fleeting glimpse, its radar signature was deliberately configured to mimic a captured Turkish TB2 drone, a clever piece of electronic camouflage. But its flight path was pure Ukrainian intelligence, following a route known only to its creators. Within minutes, the first line of defense responded. A nearby Gepard self-propelled anti-aircraft gun, a formidable beast with twin 35mm cannons locked onto the intruder. The fire control system flashed a high probability of a kill. The gunner's finger likely hovered over the trigger. But then, a command came down. Do not engage. A critical, pre-planned 10-minute window from 0420 to 0430 had been established to allow friendly assets through this corridor. The drone was exploiting a calculated gap in its enemy's own protocols. The Gepard stood down, and the drone slipped through its grasp. The next challenge was an invisible wall of electronic warfare. As the drone approached its target area, powerful Pol 21 GPS jammers activated, flooding the sky with strong local signals designed to overwhelm and confuse any satellite-guided weapon. For most drones, this would be a mission killer, sending them spiraling off course or into a fail-safe landing. But this drone didn't even flinch. It continued on its path, steady as a rock. Why? Because it wasn't listening to the sky, it was watching the ground. This drone was operating on a revolutionary form of autonomy. It wasn't relying on vulnerable GPS signals from space. Instead, its brain was a sophisticated visual navigation system, cross-referencing the world below with a detailed, preloaded library of imagery. It was looking for landmarks, the curve of a highway, the straight line of a power grid, the glint of a river bend, the precise geometry of a bridge. This terrain contour matching made it immune to GPS jamming and spoofing. You can't jam the shape of a river. You can't spoof a highway. Sensing the failure of their GPS denial, Russian forces unleashed the full might of their electronic arsenal. They threw everything they had at it. Sophisticated spoofers trying to feed it false location data, barrage jammers attempting to drown it in electronic noise frequency hopping systems trying to disrupt its internal communications, and protocol floods designed to overload its processors. It was a digital hurricane. And yet, the drone flew on, completely unaffected. The reason for its resilience was both simple and ingenious. The designers had stripped it bare. There were no external radios or antennas to target. Every non-essential component was removed to make way for two critical additions: extra fuel for the long-range flight and a Faraday cage shielding its core electronics. It was a ghost in the machine, deaf to any and all radio frequency attacks. It was flying completely blind and deaf to the outside world, guided only by its internal map and its unjammable eyes. It was a purely autonomous, fire-and-forget weapon in the truest sense. As it closed in on the factory, the final layers of physical defense came into play. Long-range search radars were useless. The drone's low-altitude flight path kept it hidden in the ground clutter, the electronic noise generated by the terrain itself. The close-in weapon systems, the guns designed to be the last line of defense, were also stymied. The drone's trajectory was so low that it flew beneath their minimum depression angle. The guns simply couldn't point down far enough to get a clean shot. It had exploited the geometry of its own demise. In the final moments, the drone faced the factory's physical defenses, anti-drone nets, and reinforced roofing. But it was designed for this. With a final burst of speed, it punched through the mesh and the armor plating. Then, detonation. It wasn't a conventional high-explosive warhead. It was a thermite charge designed to burn, not just blast. The thermite ignited at an incredibly high temperature, instantly setting off a catastrophic chain reaction. The stored components, batteries, and fuel for over 5,500 Shahed-type drones, all waiting for assembly, erupted in a series of massive secondary explosions. The strategic impact was staggering. A single, relatively inexpensive autonomous drone had successfully penetrated a layered, technologically advanced, and incredibly expensive air defense network. It bypassed radar, shrugged off the most powerful electronic warfare systems, outwitted human operators, and defeated physical barriers to deliver a crippling blow. It was a stark demonstration that the future of aerial warfare might not belong to the most expensive jet or the most powerful missile. This single mission proved the devastating potential of visual-based navigation, hardened electronics, and the cold logic of autonomous, sacrificial strikes. It showed the world that a clever, well-designed, and truly autonomous system can render even the most formidable modern counter-UAV networks obsolete. This wasn't just a successful strike, it was a paradigm shift, a glimpse into a new era of warfare where autonomy and ingenuity can overcome brute force and overwhelming firepower. The echoes of that explosion in Donetsk will be felt in military planning rooms around the world for years to come. Thank you so much for watching. This kind of technological evolution is changing the face of global security, and we'll be here to break it down for you every step of the way. If you found this analysis insightful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'll see you in the next one.